It's the EP Podcast. Evergreen Park.
All right, now this is fun. I've been in Porter Cullens a bunch of times, but I've always talked to the same people whenever I check in on what's going on over here. And now Kirtan Gandhi is the new owner, and you are the most requested guest that we've had in a couple of months, where people want to know what's going on and who's in charge now over at Porter Cullens after I think they were here for about 7 years. And you've stepped in, and you got this beautiful place here on 99th Street. Welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
First restaurant?
Yes, actually, it is my first restaurant.
So why Porter Cullens? I'll jump right into it. Like, why did you say this is a place I want to invest in, I want to run? I mean, I like the place too, but I didn't come over and try to buy it.
So I've always loved people. I love hosting. I love making sure everyone has a good time. And one of the things that I love about Porter Cullens is it's in the community, and I love community. I love talking to the folks within the community, hearing what they like, what are some things that they want to be able to see, something new. And when I met Jerry, Dory, and the McGraths as well, and it was just it felt so perfect, right? You were right in the middle of the neighborhood. You're in the hustle and bustle of everything. It's pre-established. Everyone loves the food. Everything is made fresh here. Nothing is frozen. And it's a beautiful building. They've done a fantastic job here. So
used to be a butcher shop, you know that?
Yeah, it used to be a butcher shop.
My dad used to get his Thanksgiving turkey here and his Christmas ham and everything else like that. Then they turned into a pub, and he didn't really complain.
Yeah, of course not. Why would you?
We're here all the time.
Good for Guinness and some egg rolls, and it's not such a bad place after all, right?
No, we'll take it here. But it is unique. It sits right in the middle of a neighborhood.
Yes.
This isn't like on a main street, although every once in a while you get people who aren't from Evergreen who drive down it like it's 95th Street. But generally, this is a quiet street. You got schools that are all around the area. You got Southwest Grammar Schools right here on the corner. You got Brother Rice and Macaulay. You also have St. Xavier around the corner. And you've got a neighborhood here in the Southwest Quadrant that's pretty tight-knit. And so you sit right in the middle of that. What's your feelings when you look around and say, well, I have this really cool pub, but I also have a community that sits right on top of it, and that might a little bit of responsibility for can't become a crazy place, can it?
No, not at all. And stewardship, right? You want to be a good steward of the community, and I you ask how I feel about all of those things. I feel so much gratitude. It's not every day that you walk into a place that you purchase that you have an audience that's so willing to be supportive, and you don't want to do things that are going to mess with the flow of the community. You want to add to it. You want to be a part of the tapestry of it, and that is really the goal I have for Porter Cullens is how do we continue to be good stewards in the neighborhood? How do we continue to help grow the neighborhood? How do we make sure everyone is comfortable in the neighborhood and they feel like they have a place to go whenever they want a good meal, whenever they need a drink, whenever they need someone to talk to? I'm always willing to have a conversation, by the way.
I noticed that. I bumped into you last week, and I was like, I'm going to go down there and see if I could meet him and ask him if he wants to come on the show. And I was in here just before we started talking, and you were finishing up talking to somebody else. You're stopping at like every table. You're a very talkative guy. I think that personality is going to pay off for you here. But I mean, like, it's been a thing that's worked fairly well in the neighborhood, but you seem like you have some ideas. So what's your immediate plans right now? I noticed we have different chairs in here. That's the first thing I saw.
Yeah, I got some new chairs in here. The red chairs were a staple here for a long time, but I wanted to give a little bit of a softer cushion just so, you feel comfortable.
They're comfy.
Yeah, there you go.
Comfy.
Getting some new bar stools as well. So, you have a little bit a place to sit where you feel comfortable, can stay there for a couple hours, have a good time, talk with your fellow neighbors. Additionally, we're going to be building out the outside as well. So the patio, I'm getting all new patio furniture. I have to work with the city to get a pergola put up as well. We will be redoing the facade of the building as well, so that, and we are soliciting a local artist to paint a mural as an ode to Evergreen Park.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and and to our first responders.
We've had a few local artists on the show to be very excited to hear about that.
Absolutely. So we are looking to do that as well, with an ode to the community, an ode to the community members, to the Irish heritage of Porter Cullens, our collective American community as well for the United States. So we're going to try to embody all of those things. So again, this is not my bar. This is our bar. It is
Right.
our community bar, and I want it very much to feel that way when folks come in here. And like you said, I like to have conversations with people because I'm on an ever long quest to learn from everyone else, because everyone shares a different experience, and it's awesome. And I love that part of it, and that kind of led me to purchasing Porter Cullens and being in this industry altogether from my previous career, is that I just want to talk to folks and hear their stories and hear what wisdom they can bestow upon me. So I'm very, very fortunate to that end.
What are we trying here? I want to make sure that if you're on the YouTube channel, you'll be able to see it. I've had this before here, but this is the what?
These are the Irish eggs.
Irish eggs. And they're spectacular. I'm gonna try one, of course, in front of everybody. You told me you couldn't have one. You're vegetarian. You mind me giving that away?
I am
is that an odd thing to run a restaurant and you don't eat all of the food in the restaurant?
I don't eat all of the food, but I do have many taste testers come in and make sure.
I'll be a taste tester.
There you
let me
go.
know.
All right. Many of my friends have come in and tried the food, particularly before I purchased the place, to make sure that they enjoyed it as well.
Meanwhile, I have too much Irish egg in my in my mouth. So you said Irish heritage. My last name's Italian,
Okay.
but I do have some Irish heritage. Gandhi doesn't seem like it's an Irish name. So why an Irish pub?
Well, so I've been to Ireland a couple of times, and I think whether you're Irish or I'm Indian by background, but warmth of culture transcends boundaries, right? Transcends borders, and I think that Irish culture is a very warm culture, a very welcoming culture. And I think that's the same for Indian culture, American culture, and I think we just happen to be fortunate in that this is an Irish pub in an Irish neighborhood, and why not, balloon that idea even further? Because the ideas of community and warmth they transcend borders, right? So that's why I love it, and I love the fact that I love Ireland, and I love having Guinness, so it all works out for me.
I love this. You're Indian and you go to Ireland. You're like, no, I love Ireland. Ireland's my deal. I'm gonna buy an Irish pub on the south side of Chicago.
And you just call me Kieran O'Gandhi, and we're right there. We're all good and ready to go.
That's awesome. By the way, this place is packed on St. Patrick's Day.
Yes.
And that whole time. Were you around getting ready for the sale?
Oh, I had heard about it, and I had not actually come in that day. But as I talked to the previous owners, they did mention to me that
It's
it
jammed.
was jam-packed.
The Lanuti family had a table right over here for at least 8 hours.
Yeah, there you go.
Like, we were just never leaving.
Kids
come walking in and stuff like that. I would imagine you want to keep that kind of a vibe, because I know
Absolutely.
when I'm up here in the afternoon having something to eat, they come walking back, especially my high school kids, but even the grammar school guy coming back with his backpack, jumps in here with his buddies, has something to eat.
Of course. Everyone is welcome here. We want everyone to feel welcome. Like I said, this is your bar. It's the community bar, and I want to keep it that way. So anyone and everyone is welcome to come in here, and I want to keep that vibe. I want families to feel welcome here, and and if you're here just in the late evening and want to have a pint and talk to your neighbors, you're more than welcome for that as well.
I know one of the things that they were real big on was their pours of Guinness.
Yeah.
Like, Guinness Corporation had been out here.
Mm-hmm.
They trained their staff. They brought some of them to Ireland. You may be a vegetarian, but I see that you poured yourself one.
Yeah, I do.
So you do enjoy a Guinness from time to time.
Absolutely. I'll cheers you on that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, like, how important is it then? Like, is that something that you'll kind of keep up, the idea of there's a specific way to pour this and keep, like, if we're going to serve this, we're going to serve it the right way?
If we're going to do it right. Have pride in the product, have pride in your work, and it should stay at the highest quality, and that is something we will stand by. I think one great thing about Porter Cullens, one of the many great things about Porter Cullens that the previous owners have done, everything is fresh.
Yeah.
Everything is made specifically the way it's intended to. And we want to keep that going, and I don't ever intend on changing that part of it.
Yeah. Well, I hear your background as somebody who's vegetarian, and I know that that's kind of a thing now. We have a vegan chef that is from Evergreen that we've recently featured on the show. Will we see any menu additions, changes, anything like that?
So the core menu will stay the same, but we are going to be doing seasonal specials. We will have different types of sandwiches. For example, this week we're doing a caprese sandwich, which has not been done before, with the homemade pesto. That is a vegetarian, but you can get it with chicken. So you will start to see that. You will see additional ideas around pairing menus. So where you have a seasonal dish, for example, a ceviche, and we'll pair it with a refreshing cocktail for the summertime, right? And then, a light item, a savory item, a hearty item, paired with a drink. So you'll see new items, but you need not fear. The core item, the shepherd's pie, the egg rolls, everything is staying. All those things are staying. So our menu is intended to be additive. And if the community has a very strong response and they really enjoy it, we will make it part of our permanent menu.
One of the big things that I've noticed, I do the EP podcast, I do a bunch of other shows, I do Southside Pod. Southside Pod, we do a lot of traveling around to nearby breweries, distilleries. I mean, you've got a couple of them over here in the Beverly neighborhood, Horse Thief Hollow,
Sure.
Open Outcry. You got Blue Island Beer Company not far away in Blue Island. There's One Allegiance out in Chicago Ridge. I mean, you could just stretch out and find breweries everywhere. Thornton Distilling is making all kinds of different spirits and stuff. How much local will we see here at the bar? Will you keep things where they're at generally now? Are you interested in maybe bringing in some of the craft beers that are nearby?
Absolutely. So I think we will keep our core products. Obviously, we'll have our Guinness, our Miller Lite, our Southside Water, as a lot of people affectionately call it. But we will be working with local breweries. We do want to bring it in, but we want to ultimately provide what the community is looking for, right? So we want to support our fellow businesses. Obviously, we want to keep our community strong, but then beyond that, we also want to think about what do our customers want. So, I say that to all of our customers here. If there is something that you're jonesing for, there is no idea too small or too large to bring forth, and I will do the things in my power to bring those to life. So whether that be a local brewery, a distillery, or a menu item you'd like to see, I'd be happy to try to make those things happen.
He's here too. Every time I pop my head in here, this guy's running around. Okay, you're going to meet him if you come walking in the door. What did you do before this? You alluded you had a different profession beforehand. Were you in the restaurant world or no?
No, I was actually a management consultant, which a lot of folks are like, what does that mean?
Well, you had something to do with running businesses.
Businesses, right.
Yeah, you need to know how to do that to run a restaurant.
Right.
It seems like one of the more difficult ones to run.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I worked with a lot of Fortune 500 companies. If you've seen Office Space, you can call me one of the Bobs. From that, I was kind of that kind of guy, right? Like going in, an efficiency expert, if you will. But, my job was really to help companies that were going through mergers and acquisitions or looking to expand. That was my previous career for 16 years. And then I went into day trading for a bit. I do that on the side, and now I have Cullens. So it's kind of been an interesting journey to bring me here.
Kirtan Gandhi.
Yeah.
I get it right?
Kirtan.
Kirtan.
Yes.
I'm going to get better at this.
Yeah,
I swear,
no
man.
problem.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my God. Kirtan, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you so
You're
much.
living a dream that I think most of us always had, that we're going to buy a bar.
Yeah.
But you're doing it.
I'm
So
so
I
excited.
wish you luck. Because
I
I know
appreciate
you're excited, but I would imagine you're a little like, ooh, let's see if this works out.
With this kind of community behind me, I always say the only thing I have to do is just not screw it up.
Listen, it's a good neighborhood. You support it, it'll support you. I'm
Yeah,
sure of it.
absolutely.
I'm sure of it. Well, thank you so much for having me over here and for this beautiful Irish egg. I'll show one more time for the YouTube followers. You can see the one piece that I already ate. I'm going to have to finish the rest of it here. And cheers, my friend.
Cheers. Thanks
Welcome.
a lot. Appreciate it. Cheers to all of you as well.
It's the EP Podcast. Evergreen Park.